chilling?
We're back, and it's going to be the football segment of the show, and of course, it's still News Sport as you expect, and proudly sponsored by Alpha Match, and of course, Bukenzo Glam, where you can get all your glams in terms of, I don't know. That was just round up my head for a couple of seconds there. I still have Orab Kashi with me, I have Olali with me, and of course I have Shei with me. Kashi, I'm going to start with you. It's sack season in the Premier League right now, as of today. I honestly, I don't see any justification for a club that basically signed just one or two players in the summer, and the January transfer window they signed two additional players. I think Christensen from the Danish league sacking their coach. Honestly, what miracle are they expecting Brendan Rodgers to perform at Leicester City? Pass scrapping the relegation battle. And of course, we need to consider the fact that teams in the Premier League right now, especially below the top 6 level, are very closely knitted. Like everybody is not better than anybody. West Ham can beat anybody. Same thing that you will see with Brighton and Hove. They've defeated Liverpool, I think, once or twice already this season, both in the league and the FA Cup. So the gap is actually very close. It's closer than what people think, and I don't know exactly what they expected of Brendan Rodgers. And do you think the sack is justified?
It's hard to always say the sack is not justified. The results tells us otherwise. That this is a team. When a team has 2 fifth-place finishes and an FA Cup win in the last 3 to 4 years. Languishing where they're languishing right now tells you that the crisis, that the message of the coach is no longer getting through. Typically, things happen like that when a team has been that successful. You refresh the players or you risk the result of complacency. The latter is what has now taken place in Leicester City. Yes, they lost their talismanic goalkeeper in Kasper Schmeichel, which is when you have reliable goalkeepers, it's always hard to replace. So we understand that, but with the resources in their hand, with the kind of confidence, let's not forget they missed the Champions League football by a harrowing last minute or last game issue that happened. I can't get all the details right now. So based on the results, you would say yes, it's deserved. But based on the kind of man who Brendan Rodgers is, you feel for him. However, I feel the message he had to share was no longer getting across to those players. Sometimes you need to be sensible enough to bite that bullet early and then hope that something drastic happens. That hasn't been the case for them. That they have 9 Champions League finals to redeem their season now. I still feel they won't be among those relegated. But them not being relegated means that, because the way it is now, one of them between West Ham United and Leicester will go down this season. Now, I don't know if I like more or if I hate more out of both of them, because they are really 2 mid-level clubs that I kind of fancy, and I like their story in the Premier League. However, the numbers tell me that the sack is well deserved. Whether that's imminent or not is up.
Because looking at Shea, and I'm going to come to you. Looking at it, I'm looking at the top position. Crystal Palace, they sacked Patrick Vieira, I think 2 weeks ago, which to me is not sensible. Anyways, and if you look at the number of games that Vieira played before he was sacked, he played, I think, against City, Liverpool, and Brighton and Hove, and the rest. And look at the top place position is 30 points. And Southampton is on 23 points. So that means it's just seven points difference. And we still have like 9 games left. So anybody can actually relegate between that 12th position and the 28th position. That's my view. I start to be corrected. And if you are selling Fofana at the start of the season and you are replacing Fofana with Faze, I think people that have big hair on their head, there's a way they behave. I see that guy every time I'm looking at the new David Lewis. Every time I look at him, very erratic, might be talented but very erratic. Do you think this is justified, or they should have at least kept Brendan Rodgers on till the end of the season, or bringing on someone else is going to rejuvenate the team in
Um,
this later?
okay, Depo, I don't know. I think this probably well well done to be less hierarchy.
I think I lost Shay there for a second. Olale, are you with me?
Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
I'm with you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Good. I was trying to I was trying to say something. I was trying to confirm that Kachi mentioned that the left hierarchy probably had the right to let Brendan Rodgers go, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. You know what? I've actually followed this Leicester story from earlier in the season, which at a point we thought Rodgers was at a point. I don't know if you guys can recall.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
now, if you look back to that time and right now, do you actually know that the net spend of Leicester is, I think, they should be in that they have like close to 33 million positive in net spend.
Mhm.
In January, I think Leicester is the only club that did not sign any player in the Premier League. Am I right?
Yeah.
No, they did sign a particular Christensen in January.
Danish league, yeah.
Yeah, from Danish league. But I think that's all they did.
Probably in the last
Yeah,
resort, and I don't think
exactly.
really a key player in the team. I think the Leicester era has done quite very very poor in the market. They've sold a lot of players over the years.
And don't replace them.
They've made good money and they did not replace them, the way they should. And I don't think they've also developed players from the ranks during this. So at times you look at all these decisions, we see the results and we blame the coach most of the time.
Yeah.
But so we need to look we need to look at the hierarchy. We need to look at what they are doing to support coach and the team. We usually criticize Manchester United because of the players there. Here we are today. Brendan Rodgers that won the FA Cup against big teams that you, on a good day, you would have thought they would.
Of course, they're not supposed to win it, exactly.
And you are sacking him without backing him. I think it's a wrong decision as far as I'm concerned. You made mention of Oxen coming back to Crystal Palace. For me, I think Crystal Palace has played the best football under what's it called, under the era in the last maybe 5 years that in there. And they are not, even though we know that the table is not so good for Crystal Palace. Like rightly said, everybody from 12th down to 20th are relegated.
Yeah,
But I think that Crystal Palace would not relegate. Just have that
exactly.
the era. But they brought in the oldest coach, which came in to break his own record 3 times. Anyway, the first game he won, right? But the point is looking forward, not backward.
It's for me that's regressive. It's regression.
For me, that's
Yeah. All right. Perfect. Thank you very much for you. Alana, I'm going to come to you. The biggest fish in the pond right now is the sack of Graham Potter. And honestly, I don't blame Todd Bodley sacking him. If you are playing Gentries and Cucurella in a back three alongside Koulibaly, you are setting yourself up for failure. I don't understand how the guy thinks. Because I've been an avid supporter of Graham Potter. For anybody that cares, that is listening for the first time, I've been an avid supporter. But when you make this kind of decisions, there's only one thing that can happen, and that's the fact that you will be sacked. And that reminds me of Villa-Boas. Chelsea is not a good team. I'm telling you, and I'm going to tell you for free. That atmosphere is very toxic. I remember when Villa-Boas was the coach of Chelsea. He did not go home for more than 2 months. He was sleeping in the pod within Stamford Bridge. the Cobham training page. That's where he was sleeping. It just shows you how difficult and how pressurizing the job could be. But sometimes this coach does not, they don't do themselves any word of good. You don't do that, and no matter how toxic the environment is, no matter how many players that you have, but you don't do that and expect to win. And I know a lot of you asking questions like, is Ryan Sterling dead? What is wrong with Baba Mayank? Why are you not choosing all these people? But anyways, he's gone, he's gone. He have successfully given himself a bad name with that job. Looking forward now, who should we be expecting at Chelsea right now? Are we supposed to be expecting Julian Nagelsmann, that I think will be a very big gamble from frying pan to frying pan? I won't say to fire. From frying pan to fire, that will be a very big gamble. Pochettino, he understands the league, and we know how this could happen. Antonio Conte, he understands Chelsea. He was recently sacked by Spurs. He's jobless right now. And or Luis Enrique, that is jobless as well. So what should be the option? We are not going to talk about whether Potter's sack was justified. It's justified as far as I'm concerned, unless you have a dissenting opinion to that. Olali.
Well, I think this sack or this news probably took a little bit of shine away from the Newcastle United game, which probably would have been more of the focus point around the sporting or around the footballing world now. But again, we are focusing on Chelsea. I remember when Chelsea fans think that the days of Roman Abramovich, when the sack coaches at will, has become something of the past. Here they are again, typical Chelsea. This thing, everything will just be. I think it suits the club. This disarray, this kind of everything turning up and down. Looking back at the two Champions League they won it in almost similar fashion like this.
Yeah.
The sack, what do you call it? Andrews de Aboash, I think in February. Frank Lampard in December. And in those two Champions League, everybody felt they were a laughing stock. Nobody probably gave them a chance to probably even reach the latter stages of the competition, and they won. So I'm not saying they're going to win this one, but I'm just saying this is a kind of atmosphere,
similar situation.
Similar situation whereby they thrive. Now, who's to take over? Well, I think this is where at times you probably need give it to Roman. Probably his instinct works a lot. His instinct works for him a lot. Because I have a doubt about his footballing this thing, but again, probably because he doesn't talk so much, probably I do underrate his footballing
knowledge.
What do you call it?
Knowledge.
But now I think I don't know. I know who the sporting director at Chelsea is at present. It has to be a coach who can. They need a coach who can harness whatever they have on ground and make the best out of it. Who could probably get the best out of? Did they want to go for a Nagelsmann, which I don't? I think Nagelsmann is probably more fitted to the Spurs, what do you call it, project, more than the Chelsea project. I think Chelsea needs somebody who I think the board can respect and the players can respect at the same time, because
like Rafa Benitez.
from the way things went during the January transfer window. The number of players they signed, and some of those players, like, you have to question, like, why this guy? You think they need somebody who can tell them, no, I think this signing is not good for us. Todd Bowley needs somebody who can probably look at his eyes and tell him that, no, this thing is not what. I think probably that is where Luis Enrique, I think, was for whatever for whatever, what do you call it, opinion we have about Luis Enrique, is well respected. He has won the Champions League with Barcelona. For you to have coached Messi, Neymar, and Suarez at the same time, and those three gave them at least they gave them a lot of, what do you call it, a memory. So for me, I think with number of coaches on ground now, I'll probably go for Luis Enrique.
Luis Enrique. All right, perfect. Shay, what about you? Are you going to go for Luis as well, or it's going to be Pochettino? I know you like Pochettino, anyways. So.
Oh goodness. I think I will agree to Olawale's assertion on that. I think Luis Enrique will probably be the best fit for them in terms of experience and what he has done with big players. And we know what Todd Boehly is trying to do at the moment. Probably trying to recreate a kind of star-studded team. I don't think Pochettino's record at PSG will eliminate. That's like a little bit of dent to his credential when it comes to bringing together big players and and coaching them. So for now, with what is on ground, Luis Enrique might be the best.
Okay, all right. Shea, I'm going to stay with you. Top four, how is it shaping up in the Premier League? We understand that Arsenal and Manchester City are the top two. Nothing is going to change that. I think Arsenal is like 22 points above the third place team, and that's nothing is going to, unless they lose the rest of their games. And I think maybe Arsenal is 8 points ahead of Man City, if I'm not mistaken. But for the second and third, that's a very huge one. Spurs is still in the mix, of course. Liverpool is still in the mix. Newcastle is still in the mix, and Manchester United are in the mix as well. How do you think it's going to end up at the end of the day? As of today, given what we've seen today.
I think we also need to add Brighton to that. Because of the number of games they've also played. I think they have like a game to play on Manchester United and Newcastle. Also, the way they've been playing, I think they're also a problem to quite a lot of
big teams.
Yes, but I still think the main battle is between Newcastle, United, and Tottenham. I don't think Liverpool has gotten over the incompetence, and time is running out. So for me, United is facing quite a big challenge right now. They are unfortunate to lose one of their key players to suspension at the moment. They are also fortunate to be in many competitions at the same time. And this really does not work well for the Premier League. They keep playing teams that seem to play one game every week. And we know the pace of the Premier League. It wears you down. I think that might just a little bit work against them. If you look at Arsenal, if you look at even the title race now, I think it's actually shaping up better for Arsenal. And guess what? City are still the Champions League and the FA Cup. So if you look at the next number of games that they will be playing, there will be a lot of games for City to play compared to Arsenal, which means Arsenal will have better time to prepare for their games. And they have enough players to also shuffle around to rest and to rebound. So the same thing is happening to United right now. They've not scored a goal in the league. In the last 3 games after they won the League Cup. So that's a testament.
That's a worry sign.
Right now. If Spurs happen to win their next game, which is probably tomorrow, United are out of the top 4. So that is the way that's the shape of the top 4 battle right now. But for me, I think it's actually making the top 4 will be probably the biggest achievement of Ten Hag this season if he makes the top 4. And this is actually the reason. He's playing a lot of games. He's putting his players into a lot of activities at the moment. And I think that's the reason why he had to remove the 2 central defenders, which cost him the second. And that is probably what will affect that team to fall out of top 4 if that happens. But like I said, if he keeps that top 4 at the end of the season, for me personally, I think that's his biggest achievement this season.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much. I still think I don't care what anybody thinks. I still think United are going to win the Europa League. And like I said, it's better to be safe than sorry. It's going to give them a leverage to enter back in the Champions League. Ali, I want to start with you on the game between Newcastle and United today. A lot of criticism, trying to play Jadon Sancho as a number 10. Rashford, the way he's playing right now, like he's not an happy soul right now. Maybe because he's not fully fit, which is understandable because he did not even play over the international weekend. Where do you think the game against Newcastle was lost? Was it because of those substitutions or panic button pressed? And how well do you think, how deep do you think the loss of Casemiro is affecting United right now?
Okay, Debo, let me to put a context to this.
Yeah.
Since the resumption of the after the World Cup, I think the World Cup ended on December. When was that? Is it December 20 something or thereabouts? So since then,
Yeah.
United have played a couple of, let me say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25,
Wow.
26 games. United have played
Wow.
26 games in 3 months. And
Wow, that's crazy.
I think that's a crazy amount. I don't think any other team has played that number of games. 26 games between December and that's like in 3 months. 26 games in 3 months. That's like a game in every 3 days or 4 days or
Yeah.
thereabout. So at the point in time, you expect the fatigue to set in on one hand, and I think the injury to Casemiro, sorry, the suspension to Casemiro on
Suspension.
2 locations, and those 2 suspensions are very, very close ones. He has missed like 6 to 7 league games due to those suspensions. And Christian Eriksen, for a team with, let me say, a
There is
tiny, what
team.
do you call it?
Yeah, tennis squad. A team squad.
Squad, a team squad missing Christian Eriksen for like 2 or 3 months has been a whole lot. Is a lot of stress, and that is where the problem is. The structure of the midfield is a big problem. If Casemiro was there, he acts as a shield for the defense. In as much as he's not the best of ball carrier, but we could even see that there is a way he tries to initiate United attack, even from that
Yeah.
his defensive position.
Deep,
Now,
deep pro.
so immediately with Eriksen not there, practically there was nobody to do the job. What I personally learned from Bruno Fernandes' game, the last 3 games, is that he can't operate from a deep position. Against Southampton, it was very obvious he was struggling. In this game, he couldn't do that too. Vegas, I think the only reason why United have been playing Vegas is just to make up the starting 11 and probably to have 1 or 2 quality players to bring up from the bench. I think it's a whole lot of factors that contributed to this. I was actually expecting this because of the crazy number of games they've been playing. They've won the the FL Cup. They are into the semi-final of the FA Cup, latter stages of the. So I think all these have accumulated
contributed to whatever is I was saying right now.
have contributed to with those injuries. I think they will need to patch themselves up now. They have to patch themselves up for the Brighton and the Everton game. Then I think thereafter, both Christian Eriksen and Casemiro should be back. For the person asking, I think we have like 6 teams in the mix, but I still think it still boils down to United, Newcastle, Spurs for the
last 2 spots on the top 4. All right, perfect. Thank you very much for that. And I'm going to just do a quick gloss of the game between Liverpool and Manchester City. Man City defeated Liverpool again 4-1. He ended. We thought Arsenal fans thought Liverpool could help them, but they did not. The difference of quality showed both on the bench and of course on the pitch as well. Pep Guardiola was a little bit disrespectful after they scored one of their goals, trying to shaking Melo and of course trying to shake Daniel Nunes, who team just conceded. And of course, a lot of places said that where was the game lost, what was the game won, and it boils down to whether Jurgen Klopp prepared himself well enough for this game in terms of tactically, he didn't do the right thing for the game. I doubt if he did the right thing for the game. And of course, there was a little bit more fluidity for City, given that they did not play at any on the night, or should I say, in the afternoon the day. Alan was not playing. There was a little bit of more fluidity. You see the guys, the way they were pressing and the way they were playing. Julian Alvarez brings something to the team that is similar or replica of what Gabriel Jesus brings to the team as well as a striker. They had the crazy press, and of course the running around that he does, not being a static striker. And of course the defense of Liverpool went to sleep basically. Guys like TTA, Roberto were just not there on the day. And I wonder what VVD still is doing that thing. And Sheyi, and that leads me to my next question, Sheyi. I was on the Twitter space yesterday and people were talking about VVD and they were throwing around the word legend. And I'm like, legend. Are you mistaken? Is it like you are trying to say he's a world class player? And they keep repeating the word legend. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go back to the panel of analysts on my show and ask the same question. So I know that I'm not out of touch. I'm not losing it. Is VVD a legend of the game?
Okay, Debo. Thank you for the question. For me, I think personally at the moment, it's far from us to say VVD the legend of the game. I think legendary status comes with you being able to stay in a particular level, at a particular level. Let's let's say, for instance, the world class level for nothing less than 10 years, and in a top club that challenge for everything. If you are talking about legendary players at the moment as we speak, so we have to start naming the likes of course, we know the first two that are aliens. They are aliens. But let us start talking about the next level. If you have to pick a Manuel Noir, you know that is a legend already. Even though he's still playing the football, you know that this is a player that stayed for more than 10 years at the same level. World-class player, at a world-class club, winning and challenging for the Champions League
every year. Exactly.
If you go to Spain, you can the likes of the
Karim Benzema,
Modric. You can pick the likes of Benzema. You can even pick the likes of Barcelona's
Sergio Busquets.
Those are legends right now that are still playing the football. The likes of VVD can only be called world-class players, world-class. It still will VVD probably another 5 years, another 6-7 years to attain that particular thing. And that number of 5 years has to be contesting for the Champions League week in, week out, and scaring all the attackers in the Premier League. So personally, for now, he's a world-class defender. But
I'm going to ask you the same question. I don't know if you heard the last question that I asked. I was in a Twitter space and people were throwing around the word legend for VVD, and I'm like, okay, what's really happening here? Because I don't understand. Is he truly a legend of the game? Even at Anfield, he's not even a legend at Anfield.
Okay. I think we need to pause a little bit. Yes, Virgil van Dijk might be having not too good of a season now. But I think probably if you say he's not a legend based on the fact that he's still playing, I can agree. But I think his legendary status is already sealed immediately he retired. Because you have to put context into this.
Okay.
This Liverpool is what is one of the pillars of this of this Liverpool. Let me say good 5 or 6 years or thereabout. Of course, they probably they have only a league title to show for it, of course, and they have a Champions to show it. The question you need to ask yourself: in the last 30 years, of Liverpool's this thing, I think the last time they won the league was in 1990. Before they won this, they won in 2000. I think it took them 31 years. In
Yeah.
those periods, I'm sure even outside Steven Gerrard, there are still like 2 or 3 players that people still regard as legend in Liverpool. I'm sure Dietmar Hamann comes into this
This is discussion.
into this conversation.
Yeah.
If you
Someone
consider
like Michael
Hamann
Owen,
as a legend of Liverpool, or even what's the name of this man that played very well in that season they won the UEFA Cup. I don't know how they regard him.
McAllister.
Harry McAllister. Yeah. So I think in these 6 years he has done very, very well. That
Okay, so
injury
he's
at
he's a legend
Everton,
of the game.
it's a legend at Anfield. At Anfield,
Okay,
yeah.
of
In
the
the game,
game.
it's another thing entirely. The game, you see, the way we use the word legend thereabouts now, it's a bit of the game. Probably, I will probably still have a little bit of have to still wait. But in terms of Liverpool, as a Liverpool player, I think he's a legend in Liverpool. I don't think there's any doubt about it.
Legend of the game, is he a legend of the game?
Legend of the game is a bit. I don't think it's something that it's very easy to define. If you want to look at the legend of the game, probably there are few players to qualify for that. You have to look at achievement comes to I don't know, longevity probably applicable to some players. Achievement is the most important thing, and like how many did you and how considering the fact that he's a defender, and to be sincere, this modern day football has not been too fair to defenders in time of the rules and all those things. I might not really consider him as legend of the game, but as far as Liverpool as the team is concerned, is a legend. I don't think that one is down.
He has not earned the legendary status for me personally at Liverpool until he retires. I don't know. For me, but that's my opinion. But as for the legend of the game, I see just 2 legends right now. Just 2 legends, and one is closely following them. Just 2 legends that are playing right now, and that's Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi. Every other person needs to work for it. You know, every other person
the issue about the legend of the game
yeah, achieving a legendary status is like the biggest pinnacle of football career. It's the biggest pinnacle. We're not talking about world class players here. We're talking about achieving a legendary status. That means you played at top level for a very, very long time. At top level for a very, very long time. For a very, very long time.
Is Ronaldo a legend of the game?
Ronaldinho is a legend of the game. And he played at the top. He played at the top level. Yeah, he played at the top level. He played at the top level. He played at the top level for a long period, for 4 to 5 years.
Not for
consistently. Won the World Cup, won the Champions League, won the Champions League. Change the fate of Barcelona.
I agree with you. Wait now. I agree with you that Ronaldinho is a legend of the game. But this is what I'm saying. This criteria will be different from player to player. Ronaldinho, you see, those 5 years of Ronaldinho is probably better than 15 years of a lot of players. Those 5 years when he was on top of it was probably the reason why a lot of people probably. You can't watch Ronaldinho and say he hates football. That's one thing about it. In those 5 years, it's probably better than like this thing we're talking about. There was an article I read. In what do you call it? I think Go.com. 10 to I think it was around 12 years ago when they were naming probably I don't know what they named it, but they were naming probably the world class players or the legend. I don't know whether they used the legend. Okay. I can't remember specifically.
Oh, smokes! We lost Olawale again, and I would have loved to hear Olawale's opinion till the end of that one. Anyways, can Arsenal keep clean sheet at the Emirates? Shay, Olale, are you back?
Yeah. So,
Okay, you were
like I
talking
said,
about
to
the
just add
article on. Yeah, you were talking
yeah,
about an article.
I think
Yeah.
one of the rules they were using then was okay longevity, but when they got to Ronaldinho, like that has to be an exception because in those few between that 2000 and 2000 and probably 2006, what we saw from Ronaldinho was unbelievable. It wasn't just playing the game; it was enjoying it. But the point I want to I'm not saying Van Dijk is the legend of the game. I don't think I would consider him that.
Okay,
But like
thank
I
you.
said, I think he's a legend at Liverpool. I think he's a legend at Liverpool. What I'm saying
Yeah,
is to
we'll
fashion
wait
out
for
is
that.
a criteria for the legend of the game. I think it varies from player to
From player
player.
to player.
Against, you have
Yeah.
to consider the era, you have to consider some other things. Just like what we just
Mm-hmm.
said about Ronaldinho now. You can't use longevity for Ronaldinho because it doesn't really have it.
Yeah,
But
I agree with you. It's just like the same way we will not be able to use longevity for someone like Marco Van Basten. We can't.
exactly.
We can't use it for Marco Van Basten. Marco Van Basten is probably the second best striker in the history of the game after Ronaldo de Lima. As far as I'm concerned, I don't know about anybody else, but as far as I'm concerned, probably the next best or probably the best European striker that we've seen since maybe 1990. The only contestant against Marco will probably be someone like maybe Alan Shearer or Guy Lyrica or some I don't know someone like Buni.
A top nine.
What a top nine exactly. So it's very difficult. So I agree with you. The rules will vary, but for me, I will still wait for this guy to end his career at Liverpool before I even consider him a legend at Liverpool. He will eventually get that legacy status, given he won the Champions League and the league, which was an elusive trophy for Liverpool for a very very long time.
For 30
You know,
years. For 30
yeah,
years.
for a very very long
And
time.
that's the
Yeah.
contest
So
again. That's the
yeah,
contest again. For how many generations that couldn't
exactly.
do it?
That could not do it. So probably, but for the game, no way. I'm sorry.
Mbappe, yes.
No way. No way. I'm sorry. No way. Of course, before we go on the show, because we are pressed for time right now, Fati's father came out to say Xavi is not playing his son. And Xavi, the following weekend, played the son. The son scored a goal in their game. Shay, I don't know. Is Fati really that good?
Other question.
Oh, that boy is just another Bojan.
By
I'm sorry. I'm
the
sorry
way,
to say that.
I think he just retired like last week or last month there.
Oh wow, nice.
I think Fati, the young boy, needs more game. Obviously you expect the father to be quite
Protective, yeah.
protective and critical of the coach that is not playing. The youthfulness is still there, and this is the time for him to actually showcase.
To make his mistakes, yeah.
I think he's in the bracket of the likes of Pedri and
Gavi.
Gavi, yeah, right? Yeah, but of course, I still believe those ones are a little bit ahead of in terms of what they bring to the also, if you look at
Smokes. It's been crazy. Lale, can you pick up on where
Yeah.
Shay stopped? Okay, go ahead, Shay.
also if you look at I think it's very very hard for a party to have many games in that. Let's be sincere. So for me, I think Ansu Fati's father needs to look at the best scenario for his boy.
For
If
his
he's
boy.
not getting time in Barcelona, can he go out alone to a team that is sure that is going to get this game time?
That would be
Obviously,
the beginning of the end.
his way back home to play for Barca if he's that good. So for
Okay.
now, I don't being critical of Javi is
Okay. All right, perfect. Olale, same question. Is Fati that good? Are we going to classify him in the mode of guys like Bukayo Saka, like Marcus Rashford, and the rest, or is just a bolding guy that they are trying to hype up? Olale. Oh, smokes. I think I lost Olali there for a sec. Okay, Olali, go ahead, please.
Okay, I'm here. Okay, Ansu Fati, very talented, very promising, but I think that's his injury record has not really helped in his development. I think players like what do you call him, Gavi and this other boy,
Pedri.
that the one that
Pedri.
what's his name, Pedri.
Pedri.
I think those boys are a little they are a little bit, as in, they are not even a little bit, they are one or two steps above him. I think the father is trying to put Eric Xavi on the spotlight, probably to give the boy a bit of playing
A
time.
chance.
I think the injury has been to his development. He needs the playing time to develop. Whether he's going to get that at Barcelona is another question entirely. But he needs to first of all sort out his injury issues. Can he stay fit? If you can stay fit, then
You'll be able to
see whether you can get
judge him. All right, perfect.
Exactly. If
That's
you are
nice.
not fit, you can't blame the coach. The coach just wants to win.
Exactly.
He's not there to rob
But
anybody.
Olali, do you think Fati is actually better than someone like Bojan under Guardiola? Bojan under Guardiola. I'm not saying Bojan after in the Barcelona, but that Guardiola, Bojan look like the next biggest thing.
Bojan under Guardiola was even probably was more rated than what's the name of that Mexican guy? Dos Santos.
Yeah, Dos Santos.
Do you remember him?
Yeah, Dos Santos. Yes, the Mexican.
Dos Santos. He came to Spurs at the point.
Spurs, yeah.
I think whatever happened to Bojan after Pepe left Barcelona will remain one of the biggest misery in football. I know injury was not kind to him too.
To him as well, yeah.
Bojan's career was not supposed to end the way it ended. Bojan was a big time talent. He was a big time talent. There is no two way about it. Probably now with teams playing more with a 4-3-3 formation. I think another problem with Bojan there was identifying his role on the pitch. But I think injury was his main problem. But I think Bojan was, like, let me say, 2 or 3 steps ahead of Ansu Fati.
Right now.
Another player, I think, you don't even ask our step question before you go, people. Do you remember Famarida? What happened to Famarida?
Famarida. Asemenga happened to Famarida. That's just the point. I know people like to talk about Asemenga and the way he developed talent, but I could tell you for free, a couple of guys in Arsenal back then were not given the chance. Frank was not given the same chance that Cesc Fabregas was given. Famarida is as talented as Cesc Fabregas. I can tell you for free. But he was not given that chance. There was another particular guy that came from Bremen. I've forgotten his name right now. Yeah. I've forgotten his name too. That guy was not given a chance as well.
Footballing career is just like every other thing that happens in other walks of life. You could remember some few months ago your opinion about Saka that it's not, you don't see that big talent in him. I actually defer to that. I disagree with that. But I think one thing I would agree is this. Arteta has shown more interest in Saka,
in development of Saka,
to have given him time. He's actually good. The boy is good. No doubt about that. Like somebody said, I think for the fact that he has played different roles, left wing, left back, and now I think it has probably helped the development somehow. But I think the coach was actually very interested in him. And the environment has helped him to develop.
Yeah.
For you to see the Messi what we are seeing today in Messi, Ronaldo, or whatever, no matter how the talent, no matter how hardworking you are, you just need all the stars to align with you.
Yeah, to align with exactly. 100%. Thank you very much, Eddie. Thank you very much, Olali. That's the show, and that's the wrap for the show. Ramadan Kareem to all our Muslim fans out there, and of course, a big and wonderful Easter celebration in a week's time, I guess, and happy Palm Sunday to our Christian fans as well. Till we see you again today, this is New Systems Sports. My name is Olaleja Adebowale. This show is proudly sponsored by Hypermatch and Bukezo Glam, the best way to get your glams in the whole of Africa right now. Until we see you again next week. Bye bye, guys. Have a wonderful day.